the importance of the claim is what is the next slide refer to. Basically, claims, as I told you, is a very important part of the patent application. So if your claims are not written in a manner as intended or as expected or directly focusing towards the requirements, at any cost, even if you write the patent of 100 pages or 200 pages and write it in a very beautiful manner and comply with whatever suggestions I told you in the earlier slide, you will never get a patent granted for it, because ultimately everything is revolving around the claims, and hence we are going to focus on the claims first, and then we are going to see into details about with an example that how these particular points which we just discussed are written in the application. The purpose of a patent claim in a patent is to define the scope of what is being claimed as an invention. We are referring the term claim, as the name indicates. Claim is nothing but to put forward a kind of protection for, or to seek a protection for. So what exactly is the scope of your invention is actually expected to be claimed. So claims are always point to point, they are more specific, and they are never written or understood in a very broad manner. They have to be specifically pointing out towards the invention. They have to be specifically pointing out towards the invention in terms of how you plan to implement your invention and what is the purpose of your invention in greater details, right? This is very important to understand. When the patent application is granted, it is actually granting the claims of the invention and not the other parts of it. So claims actually is the deciding factor. What is the scope of your invention? What are the boundaries of your invention? You can write anything under the sky in the specification, but the claims always have to be specific and precise, right? This is very important. Moving on, anyone that infringe any one of the patent claim is liable for patent infringement damage and can be prohibited from compensating competing against you, that is further infringement of a patent. You recall whatever we discussed yesterday, there was a term called as infringement search, and infringement search is always associated with a patent application or patent being granted and a product who tries to copy that particular patent. So here, most important point to understand is that the claims of the patent application or the claims of the patent are the deciding factor whether the product is actually copying the invention or not. So if your claims are not being copied, if your claims are not being overlapping with the product, or the product features are not overlapping with the claims, then your invention is not considered as infringing, and hence infringement cannot be established. In contrast to this, if your claims are actually being copied by the patent, by the product, then obviously you can stop that particular product from the market or claim damages from it. Claim structure, basically every claim by default, whenever it is said as claim, it has three parts or three sections to it. The first section is called as preamble. The second section is called as connecting phrase or transitional phrase. And third is the body of the claim. When I will show you the structure of the claim, I think these things will be more clearer to you. So here the preamble of the claim is the first part of the claim, and it is basically a kind of setting a background for the claim. That means let us assume that your invention is about a pen which is having a particular specific feature which is your invention. So when you write the preamble of the claim, preamble will set a record that this invention is about a pen. So your preamble will say a pen. That is what is written in the second example. Here, when we write a patent, we don't write the specific application. We try to keep it in a broader manner. So anything specifics can also fit. For example, the pen here is referred to as writing instrument. So in the writing instrument claim, the preamble is the phrase a writing instrument for making a mark on a writing surface. So this is what is the preamble of the claim. It is not mandatory that it has to be this long. It can have a single word also. For example, a pen, for example, a device, and that can also form a preamble of the claim. The preamble of the claim states whether the claim is for the apparatus or for the method, and whenever the terms are written, it is always written from the perspective of the scope that you are expecting to. For example, if I want to write my invention is about a device, it is about a component, it is about a system, it is about a process, it is about a method, it is about a particular object. So all these things can be written in a preamble of the claim. So here an example is shown, an apparatus for making a mark on a writing surface. So as the name indicates, this claim is called as apparatus claim. The underlying feature indicates the specific category of protection that you are seeking for. You are seeking a protection for apparatus here. Similarly, if you want to write a method claim, you will write a method for marking or making a mark on a writing surface. So here you are clearly specifying that you are talking about a method which is used for making a mark on the writing surface. So this is what actually the preamble, the importance of the preamble is, right? Moving on, transitional phrase is also referred to as connecting phrase. As the name indicates, this phrase is connecting the preamble and the body of the claim. Normally there are three types of, I'll tell you the importance of this as well in the future when we discuss about the particular draft or particular example of a claim. But here at the moment you just need to appreciate is that there are three different types of transitional phrases that can be used: comprising, consisting of, and essentially consisting of, or consisting essentially of. So out of these, comprising is the most user friendly transitional phrase that is available, and normally 99% of the drafters across the globe uses the term comprising. Okay, so comprising means what? At the moment I am saying my claim involves the below body of the claim, but it can have some future or some other parameters also. So this is what this term comprising indicates. Okay, so this is really important to understand here. Is this clear? Perfect. So comprising and consisting, the difference between comprising and consisting is that comprising means it can have any other, whereas consisting means it can have only these. So this is what is the limiting factor here. So consisting is always considered as limiting the scope of the claims. Body of the claim is nothing but anything written after the transition phrase or connecting phrase. It is referred to as the body of the claim. So everything after the transitional phrases, whichever features you plan to include in the body of the claim, are referred to as whole as a body of the claim. The body of the claim defines each and every element and the limitations associated with such elements. Okay, the body of the claim should focus on the points of novelty. So here you don't have to write everything on the elaborative manner. You have to be writing it from a specific perspective of the novelty of the invention. And if your invention has a specific novelty or specific points of novelties, that needs to be clearly discussed here in the body of the claim. Now, there are different types of claims that are possible. One is an independent claim and a dependent claim, or there is another category. It's called as method or process claim, system or product or apparatus claim, product by process claim, and means plus function. Though it may not be really essential for you to understand these each and every of these things, but let me just give you a glimpse about each of these particular uh, you know uh, category or type of claims. Independent claim is a claim which is considering that your scope, which is defining the scope of your invention. Okay, so for example, if the room where we are currently or where you are currently sitting, this room is your invention, then the walls of the room, like what all or how much is the distance between each wall and how much is the height of the roof, is all covered in the independent claim. Whereas dependent claim would give you the specific description of each and every feature. For example, this wall is made up of a brick, it has mortar, it has cement in it, it has white color. So these are all referred to as dependent claim, or in other words these are called as complementary claims, or these are called as further limitation of these independent claims. Okay, but the independent claims are very important because the scope and the boundary of your invention are decided by these independent claims only, right? Method or process, as we discussed in the last slide, that whenever you want to write an invention, you need to be sure whether my invention is a method of doing something, or process of doing something, or a device which helps you to do something, which performs something, whether it is a system that helps you to do something, or whether it is a system that performs in itself something. These all needs to be decided, and when you write it on a paper in the form of claim, they become concrete, and hence the scope of your invention is completely decided based on the terms that you write in the invention. So these are different types of the claims that I just wanted to bring it forward. There are two types of patent claims which are commonly seen, very commonly seen in the patent application. One is called as an apparatus or a system claim, and other is referred to as a method claim. Every patent claim is either an apparatus claim or a method claim. It cannot be both. It cannot be either. Sorry, it can be either, but it cannot be both. So if you are writing an invention about a device or an apparatus, what can be the examples? The laptop, mobile phone, television set, you know, table, chair, fan. These are all the examples of the devices or the apparatus claim. Whereas in contrast to this, method claim is a method which actually involves the steps. For example, step of using a chair, method of using a television, method of using a laptop, a process of using a mobile phone, a method of manufacturing a mobile phone, a process of manufacturing a laptop, a process of a process of triggering the working of the fan. These are all the examples of the process. The method claims can relate to actions that a person or a machine takes. So as it clearly indicates, your apparatus claim is about a device, but the method is always associated with the action that the person or the machine takes or the device takes, right? So these are the most two commonly available types of patent applications which are very commonly seen in the patent world. So apart from this, there are many other things that we just discussed, but they are of no use at the moment to you, because even if I explain, that will not be really very helpful, because whatever your inventions would be, you may have to categorize in either of these two categories, that is apparatus, device, system, or method or process. The most important step, the first step that needs to be taken when you decide to draft your invention, is to identify what is your invention exactly, right? Unless and otherwise you ascertain what your invention is about, you will be shooting in the dark, right? So you did a prior art search, you understood that what are the differences between the prior art existing literature, and what are the differences between your invention and what is your invention. That means you have actually identified what part of my invention is not available in the prior art. So this is what is very important in the first step, that you should be clear with what you want to invent or what you want to write in the invention document. Break it down into individual concepts. For example, if my invention is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps, I need to break down each and every step and identify whether each of these steps is really important from my invention's perspective, or whether each of these steps were actually known in the prior art or not. If they are already known in the prior art, that means you can discard those steps, because that will really not help to give you protection, because patents are given only for the new, improved, and innovative concepts, right? Now then, after breaking down each of these steps, you need to identify the essential concepts. Like I told you, you need to cut out all those features, all those steps which are already available or already disclosed in the prior art, in the patent application prior art. So if any of these things are basically known in the art, that means they will not constitute to form your invention, and hence you need to identify which are the essential concepts. Out of those essential concepts, it is not always mandatory that all the essential concepts are novel in nature. So you need to identify what are novel features of your invention. Now how will you decide what are the novel features? It will be decided based on the novelty search or the patentability search that you have done in the first step. Is this clear? So unless and otherwise you do a search, how will you come to know whether your invention is novel or not? And that is the reason for the yesterday's session, you need to clearly appreciate the importance of the searching here, and most importantly, when you should do a search needs to be decided. So if you do not have any particular scope in your mind, like when to do a search and why to do a search, then it will impact in this particular stage. You won't be able to identify which are the novel features of your invention. Is this clear? Great. So now what is going to happen is, like, after you decided the novel features, you need to prepare the claim, that is especially the independent claim first, because independent claim is the mandatory and most important claim to decide the scope of your invention. Now, one thing that you need to appreciate when you write the independent claim is that since it is going to give you a boundary, you should try to give yourself the minimum possible boundaries in the independent claim. So try to include only those features which you feel are novel and inventive from the invention's perspective. If you write those only novel and inventive features, that means your invention would be very strong, and most importantly it will be broader in nature than including inclusion of all those specific points here. So all the novel features, it is not mandatory again to include all the novel features in the claim. You need to just include the at least one feature which is very important and without which the invention cannot be workable. All the other features which you have sorted out in the earlier stages, you can use them as a dependent claim, additional limitation, and include them in the claim set. Okay. Now this is what actually ends the particular session for today. But here what I'm trying to do is like I'm going to show you how exactly this particular draft is read and how it is actually seen. So basically, if any particular question, any particular point that you may have, you can ask me in your today's session. But let me show you the real-time draft that we see or what we draft from a patent applications perspective. Here, this is an example of a particular draft. So here you see this particular thing here, Internet of Things. Let me download it, that will be more easier actually. Okay, ultimate is given the same thing. Okay, this is better. So basically, Internet of Things, IoT based social soil and water testing device. So this is a random patent which I just thought that we should discuss because this is a granted one and it is easy to understand. Okay, so here they have come up with an IoT based soil and water testing device which will help the people to test the parameters or features of water and soil. So the title, this is the title of the invention basically. So the title that we just discussed, it should be clear, it should be concise. Here by reading the title itself, I would be able to understand that this is invention is about a testing device and it is for soil and water, not anything else. And most importantly, this is IoT based device, right? This is clear, right? So title of the invention is very important, very essential, and it will help you to understand the what invention is it basically related to. Second important point we discussed, the second section was technical field. Technical field of the invention, I told you there are two sentences. One sentence is always about the broadest possible domain of the invention, and the second statement is about the specific of the invention. So here, how look at the way it is written here. Technical field talks about the present disclosure relates to testing device, right? This is the broadest possible field of the invention. Whereas in the next statement, it is written that more specifically, it relates to an IoT based portable soil and water testing device to analyze, to test or analyze the quality of the soil or water using chromatography technique. Is this clear? So here he has, whosoever has drafted this application, he has smartly introduced what is the specific purpose and function of the invention as well here. Right? The first statement, that is the before comma in the first line, is always the broadest possible type of the statement that is written, whereas the second statement is specific to the invention. Let us see in the background. So paragraph number 3, 4, 5 and then till I think 10. Paragraph number 3 to 10, he has written all the details about the invention which is available in the art, what is the purpose of the invention. So if you just read this particular thing, he has started writing it from the to set a particular platform to discuss his inventions. So here he has tried to say that what are the different specific purposes of this particular soil, water, air and other things, and then he has come up to a specific problem here. He has also cited what are the problems that are available in the current techniques. For example, in paragraph number 6, if you'll see, he has already shown that soil analysis techniques are already known in the art, already known in the literature, but they have some problem, they have some issues, and that is what he has cited. Let us refer to paragraph number 7, where he has clearly indicated that these are, for example, US patent number 5050425 5246862 are the two patent documents which are US documents, and they have also tried to solve the similar problem, and then still these particular problems of the invention exist, and these, even these patents which are filed, they also have a problem, is what is written in paragraph number 8 and 9. Paragraph number 10 talks about the specific technical problem that his invention or this invention tries to solve. For example, there is a need of an IoT based portable device which is using chromatographic technique, and which is lightweight, compact, portable, inexpensive, and which has a capability of Wi-Fi or GSM, right? So these are all the specific problems that are available, and what is the requirement in view of those problems is mentioned in paragraph number 10. Now moving on, these are all called as disclaimers which may or may not be essential to your invention, but they try to broaden the scope of the invention by showing there may be a possibility of various other implementations and embodiments and other stuff, right? Here, objects of the invention, as we discussed, objects of the invention can be either written in the summary or can be also a part of the separate section in the patent specification. So here this person, as the drafter, has chosen to write the object separately, but it is not mandatory to have it separately. It can also be considered in a single summary portion itself. So here what he has tried to do is, like, he has tried to define two or three specific aspects of his invention, specific objects of his invention, which actually helps him to define the scope of the specific invention, right? So this is what it is. Now here he has clearly indicated that he wants to come up with a IoT device which is used to test or analyze the quality of the soil extract or water using chromatography techniques. Another example object that he has come as, like, this device should be compact, device should be lightweight, and this device, sorry, it should be portable and inexpensive. Most importantly, he has also come up with a third aspect which says that this device, along with being a portable thing, it should be having a mechanism of communicating. That means it should be capable of being sending the data to the other devices and stuff using Wi-Fi or GSM model. This is what is talking about the objects of the invention. I hope you would appreciate that this is, everything is going in the sequential manner or sequence that we discussed in that particular slide. So for example, the slide that we discussed about here, so here you see the title of the invention, field of the invention, background, and then brief summary we just discussed, right? So here in the summary, here we have to clearly find out, try to explain that what are the problems that are to be solved by the present invention, right? So this particular paragraph number 19 gives you a particular problem that is being solved by the present invention, or at least they try to solve the present invention, try in the present invention. And then paragraph number 20 actually gives you a specific need to solve this particular problem, right? And then paragraph number 20 and 21 gives you what are the solutions that he is trying to propose in a particular solution, that is in this invention, right? This is pretty much clear. This like, he's trying to give a problem, he's trying to give a solution. Based on problem and solution, if you recall, one of the criteria that is inventive step, to analyze inventive step, it is really important that there has to be certain problem which needs to be solved, right? So if there is no problem, if there is no solution, then how can one say that your invention is inventive in nature? So thus this person has smartly drafted the application and clearly wrote what are the problems being solved by the present invention, what are the solutions proposed by the present invention, and what are the various aspects about the invention. Here he has also tried to give a clear idea about in a paragraph or two that what his invention is or what the purpose of the invention is in a very summarized manner. He has not elaborated this. So if you'll see the total length of the summary, here is he started it writing on page number I think 4, that too in the mid of page 4, and he has finished it in the mid of page 6. So hardly two pager document is actually being proposed, and the summary portion has been written. So it is clear and concise. It is clear to understand what is the invention from reading the summary itself. Next important portion is the brief description of the drawing. Here you will see the exemplary representation. What is written is like figure 1 illustrates exemplary proposed portable testing device in accordance with the embodiment. So here you see that he has not elaborated anything what the figure is, what it is, and how it is actually working and functioning and anything, but he has just introduced that particular figure in this particular section. So this is what is how a particular paragraph is written. Now a particular field detailed description is actually the detailed implementation details or detailed working of the invention, and thus you'd see that each and every paragraph is written in a manner that it explains the invention in a greater detail. So for example, here he is talking about a chromatographic technology. He has given an example what chromatographic technologies can be worked, what this invention and how this invention tries to use this particular technology in the working of the invention. So these are all really very important points that needs to be taken care of when you draft the application, right? Otherwise, if any of the points is missed, the examiner would not be able to understand your invention, and he will not be able to appreciate what you're trying to suggest or indicate here, right? So this is really important kind of situation when you write the detailed description part, though it is not mandatory to cover or it is not given in a particular template like what all things can be covered in the particular draft, but it is always the practice that is being referred whenever they review the application. So if you review the application and if you see that there are some points which are completely missing, which will not help or which will enable him to refer to any other document apart from this document, then such inventions are not referred to as a good invention, and they may have a chances of rejection during the examination also. So as I told you, this particular description needs to be written in a manner that each and every figure is explained. I'll just try to show you the figure also what he's trying to draw. See, as I told you, the figures needs to be written in a manner that there should be no text available, no text required at all, and it should clearly indicate using the reference numeral what he's referring to. We are going to see the specific, let us say, um, details about this particular figures, but at the moment let us just concentrate on what I'm trying to convey through the description. So this description explains the figure in greater detail. So each and every part, for example 100, 102, 104-2, each and everything is available in this figure, and he's trying to explain at least once in this particular literature drawing the patent detailed description what these particular parameters are, what these particular points are. Same goes for figure number 2 as well. So let us refer where is figure number 2. Yes, this is the figure number 2 which clearly gives you the details about the figure number 2, right? This particular figure. So you note that once you read this application, all these numbers which are the part of figure 2 are or would be explained in this particular document, right? So moving on, I hope you appreciate this description needs to be detailed, and see, you see how he has tried to elaborate each and everything, the memory that he has used in his invention. He has tried to give the examples here. The IO interface, the input output interface that he has tried to write, he has given an example here, right? So all these points are importantly mentioned here, and figure number 3 is also been explained very nicely here. So this is what actually the overall particular detailed description part would be about. You see the total number of pages this guy has drafted is around, I think, page 14 to 20. No, okay, page 7 to 20, which means maximum portion of the draft is been occupied by the detailed description of the invention and not anything else, right? So let us see what he has tried to write it in the claim also. Also he has tried to include the advantages of the invention at the bottom of the detailed description. So once the detailed description is finished, the next portion comes is claims. So in the claims, I told you any feature before the connecting phrase, any content before the connecting phrase or transition phrase is referred to as a preamble. So preamble in this case is a portable testing device 100 for analyzing quality of soil extract or water using chromatography, right? This is what is basically the preamble of the claim, and then he's going to specify that what this particular device includes. So he specified that the testing device comprising a testing paper 108, and he has also included that there is an insertion slot 106 for inserting the testing tool, wherein first end of the said test tool upon insertion of the said insertion slot is connected to said testing paper, and a second end of the said test tool is immersed in the soil extract of the or the water to be tested for analyzing quality of this particular thing. So this should be clear to you. For example, whenever I read the claim, I will try to refer to the drawings of this particular claim. So let us say, for example, if I'm referring to claim number 1, he is saying that a portable testing device 100. So he has referred here 100. Okay. So the overall figure A indicates a portable testing device. This includes a testing paper 108. So where is 108? Can it be located? So 108 is here, the circle here, 108 indicates the testing paper, and insertion slot 106. Where is 106? Yes, this 106 here is a slot for inserting what? Inserting a test tool, right? Set test tool. So this test tool, I believe 104 or 102 would be the test tool, and this 102 being a test tool, a first end of a set tool upon insertion in the said insertion slot, that means 104-1, this particular end when it is inserted in 106, it is getting in touch with the 108 part, that is the paper. Am I correct? And the second end of this test tool is immersed in the soil extract or water to be tested. Second end is 104. Same is shown in this particular figure 1b. Right? He has tried to add here one more component 114. So this is again written in this particular. So any other feature apart from these two important features. So according to the drafter, he realized that only these two features may be considered as the novel and inventive feature of the invention. So he did not include any other feature in the claim 1. But all the other features which expands the working limitation of the invention are being put in claim number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That means the claim 1 is referred to as the independent claim, and all these claims which are dependent on the claim 1 are referred to as dependent claims. How to identify what is independent and what is not? One thumb rule or trick is that any claim which starts with a and it is not dependent on any other claim, it is referred to as independent claim. In contrast to this, any claim, for example, refer claim number 2 here, the portable testing device as claimed in claim 1. That means it actually is indicating towards the first claim, that is the claim 1, and thus it is noted that this claim is dependent on some other claim, and that's why this is referred to as a dependent claim. Is this clear? Any confusion in this? Sure. So basically, these are the two types of claims. Can anybody guess by reading the preamble of the claim whether this is a apparatus claim or a system claim or any method claim or what? Right? A portable testing device. As the name indicates, it's a device claim. Indirectly, it's apparatus or a system claim. So just by reading the terms itself, you would be able to appreciate what these particular claims are, right? Then important part is about the abstract. So if you'll see, the abstract would be as per the sequence, it is generally provided at the last page of the document, but since it is published, it can come on the first page. It is totally discretion of the patent offices whether where to publish this particular abstract. Many times it is not even published in the first page, it is as a separate page. So it is totally discretion of the patent office there. So here the abstract includes the concise summary of the invention in terms of the brief gist of the invention, right? So for example, here he has mentioned the present disclosure relates to a testing device, and more specifically to a portable testing device which tests or analyzes the quality of the soil extract or water using chromatography technique. The portable testing device can include a testing paper and an insertion slot. The insertion slot can be inserted with a test tool 102. So here you see that he has tried to comply with the requirements of the abstract in terms of abstract should be disclosing the gist of the invention. It should clearly tell us what exactly the invention is. It should be concise, and it is in concise manner. Even the title what he has given, it is not even of more than I think 8 to 10 words. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So maximum 10 words he has used. So he has tried to comply with all the requirements of the patent office. What are the requirements which section indicates that actually would be discussed in tomorrow's session, but at the moment what is important for you to understand is this particular important section here. So what is happening here is like this document is around 29 pages document, and you would see that this particular 29 pages document tries to cover all these sections that we just discussed. For example, all these particular parameters points required, and thus it is considered as a patent eligible kind of document. And I think this patent is already granted. Let me just check on the IPO site. Yes, this is already a granted patent. So here you see that this patent has been granted already without any objection, and these are the final claims which are granted by the Indian Patent Office. This is how I'll just show you. This is how you get the patent certificate issued by the patent office once the patent is granted. Right here, it will be the name of the company whose this patent must have filed for, and this is the controller of patent, the signature, the stamp of the government, and all those seals. And this is the patent number. This is the patent application number on which they have filed the patent, is the date of the filing of the application. And basically this is what is the government's patent office and site. And here you can see there are various fields. This is the Indian Patent Office site, by the way, and this is how a patent is searched on the Indian Patent Office site. There are so many fields given, you just need to choose any of these things. For example, if you just type name of the inventor, for example Swapnil, there will be all patents which are filed by the name of Swapnil. This may or may not be the relevant person whom you are looking for, but all the people whose inventor name is Swapnil, that will be shown here. So for example, let us say a recent application which was filed by in 2020, and inventor as Swapnil, having the name as Swapnil here. These are the inventions which are being filed here. This is how basically a patent search is done on the IPO site, right? Indian Patent Office site. Now coming back to the important points here, you would appreciate that. Let me quickly revise what we discussed and what we were trying to indicate through that application. So the title of the invention should be in such a manner that it should disclose the specific features of the invention without going into details or without going into nitty-gritties of the invention. So by reading the title itself, a person should understand, a reader should understand that what his particular invention is, and what this invention is targeted about, right? Field of invention includes the invention which is actually domain or the specific technological field of the invention, and this needs to be written in a two liner statement. For example, as I told you, the first line always indicates the broadest possible domain or the field of domain in the invention and of the invention, and the second line clearly indicates the specific invention to which it is directed towards, right? So this is what the field of invention is about. Background information is, like I told you, it mainly includes 3 or 4 paragraphs. The first paragraph should be the platform in terms of what this invention is about, what specific domain it is about. Then you need to specifically write what are the problems or what are the associated art that is available in the literature, and then what problem you have noted in those art on those particular references. And then you have to specifically write what is the need of this invention for you to come up with when you actually try to write this particular invention, or rather why, what triggered you to come up to this particular invention is what we write in the last paragraph of the apps of the background. So background of the invention, mainly it includes 4 or 5 maximum paragraphs. You don't have to elaborate it. The more you write, it will create a problem for you, because it will elaborate unnecessary things, and then it will be diverting from the original scope of the invention. So try to write it in a very clear and concise manner. If you know any closest prior art reference which you feel that that will be overlapping, you can mention that in the background section as well, so that even the examiner will understand the specific differences between our invention and the prior art reference. Okay, so this is really important to understand from that perspective. A brief summary of the invention actually is the summary, or it gives the gist of the invention in a manner that the purpose of the invention, the objects of the invention, the aspects, specific aspects of the invention are clear in this particular invention, in the summary invention itself. Okay, so brief description of the drawings. Again, it is basically about the specific description of the drawings in a liner format. So you don't have to actually consider or elaborate the details of the drawings here, but you will have to only give the introduction to the specific the drawings in a liner format, in a singular liner format. A detailed description of the invention also basically is a type of kind of elaborative section of the specification, which actually helps you to give the details of the invention to an extent that the detailed description makes the person understand what the invention is, how the invention is implemented, along with the examples, along with all the details required for a person to implement it. Now this detailed description, again, it has to be so elaborative but directed towards a topic, towards a prior invention, in a manner that it actually enables a person skilled in the art to actually implement the invention without referring to any of the prior art references or any of the other sources of knowledge. So you need to write your invention in that greater extent. Claims of the invention are basically the heart of the invention, and the claims actually gives you the protection right and the protection scope of the invention. So frankly speaking, if your claims are strong, plus minus writing in the description will really be very well understood by the controller, and he may request, or he may accept such inventions where the further information may not even be required to be submitted during the examination. Abstract is basically the document or the part which provides a specific gist of the invention in limited words. For example, according to the patent office, there is a requirement of only 150 words to explain the abstract and the gist of the invention. Drawings, as we seen, drawings actually is a kind of illustrative representation of the invention in greater detail, and it illustrates the each and every drawing in a better manner to explain the invention, so that a person who wants to see the refer the drawing and understand the invention, he can even see the drawing and understand it in a greater manner. But obviously he has to always refer to the specification to understand the nitty-gritties of the working of the invention and the implementation part thereof. So this is what my session for today was scheduled for. I think today we got finished a bit early, but in tomorrow's session we will try to focus more on the specific sections. I'm going to introduce you to the sections which we have discussed, but in verbal format, and the sections will be more specific to the Patents Act. So I will try to include as many as sections which will help you to understand what we discussed from a techno-legal perspective and from the legal specific perspective as per the Patents Act. Okay, so I believe you, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to write back to me, or even share it with to be discussed in the session for before tomorrow, and I'll be very happy to answer your questions also. So thank you very much for the time, and stay home, stay safe. Have a great day ahead.